Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman and Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
This is Saving with Silverman, starring Mark Silverman of Silverman and Associates. And Mark, of course, is certified financial planner professional, the founder and the managing member of Silverman and Associates. My name is Ron Stutz. I get a chance to hang out for a while here with Mark today. And first of all, let me put this phone number out there. It's so important. 520-333-7601. That is 520-333-7601. You can call that number or you can send a text to it. Either way, 520-333-7601. You can get in touch with Silverman and Associates, and then first part of the week, you'll get a call back, and then you can arrange a time to come in and have a conversation with Mark. And Mark, I know that you've had a great week, and you're ready for a wonderful weekend.
I'm absolutely happy to be here and always excited to be on the show.
Well, always good to be with you, and we have some interesting things to talk about today. First of all, we talk about how people retire, and different people have different ideas about what they're going to do in retirement. And the question is today, what retirement are you living for? If you're out there listening today, give this some thought, if you would. Goals are different for each person, but everybody has something they want to do or something they'd like to accomplish in their retirement years. And Mark, I thought maybe you could tell us a story about some clients who wanted to accomplish some certain goals and how your plan helped them do that. First of all, a lot of people, when they retire, they just want to be able to spend more time with their family. And tell us a story about someone who fit into that category.
Well, I have quite a few clients that want to spend more time with family, but I think what varies is depending on where that family is located. I do have some clients who have family locally, so that makes that easy. They're easy to spend time. They can babysit the grandkids, et cetera. But for other clients, maybe their families are spread out across the country. And I actually have some clients who have children that are actually in different countries. So that even makes that more challenging, and not necessarily challenging, but more expensive to travel because they can't just hop in a car and go. But really figuring out what's a decent travel budget, how often they want to go visit, those sorts of things, and really putting a number down so they have the money and they can confidently know that the money that they're spending to do the things that they want to do are not going to put them in jeopardy of running out of money. So I would say, it does vary across the board depending on the clients as far as where their children or grandchildren are located. Like I said, some are fortunate to have family close by, but I would say majority of them are either, hopping in an RV and driving cross country to visit, children, spending time with them, or having children come visit them. Or, some are actually hopping on airplanes and flying to visit their children and grandchildren in farther away places.
And of course, all of that is expensive, whether you're coming or going. And a lot of other people are just interested when they retire in buying stuff, whether it be a new car or whatever that is. You have a lot of folks like that too, I would think.
I do. I have clients that, and I'm a car person myself, but I have clients that are into cars, classic cars, et cetera, that enjoy buying those. Some are even into fixing them up themselves, which is great. And then I have some that are into art. I have a couple clients that are really big dealers into art. I have actually one client that's into antiques. So it's really whatever you're into and what's going to keep you occupied. If you can turn those into a business, one of my clients who does collect antiques, that's his business. He buys and trades and sells and knows what he's looking for. So that actually works out quite well. But it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish, what you're looking at doing. Some people want to buy stuff. Some people don't want to buy stuff. I'm not here to judge. It's really what is important to you, what gives you pleasure.
Well, Mark, we touched on this earlier. We're talking about people traveling to visit family or whatever. But there are some folks I know that you have whose goal in retirement is traveling all over the country and maybe even all over the world.
Yeah, I do have one client in particular that she does enjoy. She's widowed now, but she does enjoy taking big trips. And I think one of the nice things about having a planning process is she can confidently take these trips. So for example, there was a couple years ago, she came in and she said, I want to take this big cruise. And it was expensive. It was about $25,000. And she was worried about taking it and how it would affect her retirement. And so she came in, we pulled up her plan, and I showed her how if she paid for the cruise that she was going on, it didn't affect her plan as far as she's not going to run out of money. And she was able to go and enjoy the trip, not worrying about, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? That sort of thing. So that's one of the big things as far as having a plan, is being able to do things without the guilt and worry that maybe you're spending too much money.
Mark, one of the things that springs to my mind is the fact that a lot of what you do is provide peace of mind for people. And I know that makes you feel good.
Absolutely. I mean, peace of mind is really what it comes down to. I mean, at the end of the day, enjoying life and being able to do the things that you want to do without the worry, and there's still always going to be worries, that's life, but taking a lot of that frustration, that worry out of that equation and making you feel confident knowing that you're doing the best that you can, and you're having somebody guide you that's looked over everything, not just looking at your investments and saying buy this or sell this or trying to sell you a product, but really looking at all of your goals and objectives and finding out the purpose of the money and what you want it to do and what's important to you is really what it's about.
If you want to come in and have a conversation about your retirement with Mark, I'm going to give you the number to get in touch in just a few minutes here, but we're talking about different types of retirement. A lot of folks are just very happy that they, in their retirement years, can help their grandchildren with college. And certainly, I know you have some folks like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I mean, we do have clients that feel that if they did go to college and those sorts of things, they had to pay their own way, and they want their children or grandchildren to have to do the same thing. Certainly respect that. But there are other people that want out there that want to pay for the education for their children and grandchildren. And we're certainly happy to help support that. And so figuring out what's the best way to do it, how do you gift it appropriately, and what's the least tax consequences, should it be put into an account? There's certainly education IRAs and 529 plans, those sorts of things that are out there. There are some pros and cons to those as well, which people need to be aware of. But understanding what's the best way to accomplish what it is that they're trying to accomplish if they're trying to help their children, grandchildren pay for their college funding or even any type of higher education, really.
And then there are those who are really happy about being able to give money to their church or synagogue or funding charities, various nonprofit organizations out there, and that makes them really happy being able to do that.
Absolutely. I think a lot of us feel that we've been blessed and we want to kind of give back. And so everybody has a different vision of what that looks like or who they care about and who they want to help out, whether it's a religious organization or maybe it's a college or something that you had went to that you want to help out. There's lots of different ways to help out and figure out what's the best way to give back. Obviously, there's some tax benefits of doing that as well, which doesn't hurt, but really trying to come up with an overall plan to create the type of legacy that you want, not just legacy to giving to family, but legacy giving to, charities and other organizations that you care deeply about.
A lot of folks out there in the radio audience today who have, various goals that they have and various things they like to accomplish in their retirement years. And I know that they're going to give you a call and come in and have a conversation about all this and how they can achieve that kind of peace of mind that you provide. What happens when they come into your office?
Well, whether you're a first-time listener to the show or you've heard me for a long time, if anything I've said makes sense or resonates with you, this is now your opportunity to come in and have a conversation with me in my office to go through this process we call the financial physical. And I can assure you, I will not be trying to sell you investment or insurance products. I repeat, this is not a sales meeting. Rather, we're going to discuss your values and goals in a way, honestly, you probably never have. This consultation is designed for both individuals as well as couples. However, if you are married, it is mandatory that both spouses attend this initial meeting. So whether you're still working or already retired, this is a great opportunity to see what it looks like to work with someone who is actually required to have a fiduciary responsibility to look out for your best interest at all times. And as part of the financial physical, we will discuss your cash reserves, debt if you have any, insurance, all types, and how to best allocate your assets. And we'll even benchmark where you are now financially compared to where you want to be, so you have an even better perspective of what's required to achieve your goals for the reasons that are important to you. This will become the foundation for developing a plan that gives you the highest probability of making that happen. This meeting will be valuable to you whether or not we decide to work together. There is no cost or obligation for this initial appointment. However, it is best suited for people who have saved at least $250,000. And as you probably are aware, I am a certified financial planner professional, and I believe the only one locally here on the radio in Tucson. And the going hourly rate to meet with a CFP such as myself can cost as much as $300 an hour. So this is a tremendous value and chance to finally get your financial house in order and keep it that way. And your only commitment is an hour or so of your time. We try our best to help everyone. However, our slots fill up quickly. So I can only guarantee a complimentary meeting to the next 5 people that contact us right now. Please don't procrastinate, because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
520-333-7601. You can call or text 520-333-7601. As Mark said, don't procrastinate. It's easy to do that, but don't fall into that trap. Go ahead and make that phone call right now. 520-333-7601. You can come in and have a conversation, get the financial physical. It's not going to cost you a penny. It's just going to cost you a little time. And isn't it worth it making that investment in time? There is no obligation, no cost for this initial get-together. 520 520-333-7601. Mark Silverman, your certified financial planner professional, the founder and the managing member at Silverman and Associates. I'm Ron Stutz along with Mark Silverman, and this is Saving with Silverman.
You've got questions. We've got answers. Keep listening to Saving with Silverman.
This is Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman. If you'd like to find out more about Mark, you can go to savingwithsilverman.com. That's his website address, savingwithsilverman.com. For a more immediate response, you can call this number or text 520-333-7601. And a member of Mark's team will get back with you first part of the week, and you can arrange a time to come in and have a conversation. 520-333-7601. That's 520-333-7601. Mark, there are certain things that don't really matter until they do. Such as, I guess the best example I can think of is when you get in your car. I'm in the habit. I get into my car. First thing I do is put my seatbelt on. And certainly, I don't think a whole lot about it. I'm just kind of in the habit. But, it's probably not going to do anything for me that particular day. But if I were involved in an accident, it would certainly be a good thing if I had it on. Same thing with fire extinguishers, airbags in your car, smoke alarms in your house. Those are all examples of things in life that don't really seem to matter until they're the only thing that matters. On that rare occasion when you need one of those things, you'll either be very glad that you have one or really regretting the fact that you don't. So I thought we would talk about some things that are fitting into that category in the financial world. First of all, legal documents. Most people don't spend a lot of time thinking about them, but it's important to have the right ones in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And not necessarily saying that, and I'm not an estate planning attorney, everybody needs a living trust or those sorts of things. Certainly encourage those in certain circumstances, which a lot of our clients have. But, having wills is something that most people, actually everybody should have. Sometimes power of attorneys make sense. Beneficiary designations need to be checked and make sure that they're set up properly and set up the right way that you want them. And those should be reviewed occasionally too, to make sure that those are still accurate. And so your money goes to the people that you care about, because people die, people are born, etc. So it's important that you have those done. So it's really important that you have your legal documents in order. And that's one of the things that we do through our financial planning process.
And if you don't have those things in order, it can leave a real mess behind after you're gone, and somebody else is going to have to deal with that. And as Mark just said, you might not end up leaving the money that you wanted to leave to the place that you wanted to leave it. So important. How about long-term care protections? That's another one, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of people, will come in and say, I'll never go into a nursing home, or, my spouse will take care of me, et cetera. And that's great and all. But the reality is, depending on whose numbers you want to look at, but every 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 people are going to spend some time in a nursing home facility or need some type of care. So the question is, how are you going to pay for it if that does happen, or when it happens, I should say. And so it's just having a strategy. And if you're going to self-insure, that is a strategy, meaning you're going to pay for it yourself. That's certainly an option. But, there are other options out there. And I'm not just saying traditional long-term care insurance. There are other options other than that. When we go through this with our clients, most people are saying, I didn't even realize that existed. But it's important that you get yourself educated to understand what other options you are, and then you can make an educated decision what's the best route to take. But I think a lot of people are very surprised to hear that there's other options that are available now that weren't available, say, 10, 15 years ago.
You're listening to Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman. We're talking about things that don't matter until they do. And these are things you don't really think about very often, but when you need them, it's good to have them. That's for sure. Another one is life insurance. People feel differently about life insurance, but it's certainly good to have when you need it.
Yeah, and life insurance is an interesting one. I'm not of the belief that everybody needs life insurance, but certainly life insurance can serve different purposes, and your purposes can change. So maybe you bought a policy years ago when you were just starting off and you had, young children at home and you had a big mortgage. Now maybe your mortgage is paid off and there's no more kids at home. Maybe that insurance isn't serving the purpose that it was initially designed for. Maybe that money can be used in other ways to fund other goals that you may have that are different goals now than what you had when you first purchased that policy. So in a lot of cases, we're able to replace those policies or show you better ways of using that life insurance to cover other expenses that might be out there that you didn't realize you could do with life insurance. So, life insurance does have, like I said, multiple purposes, and it's important that you understand what those other options are. They're available now, so you can make an educated decision again to determine if you still need to keep that old policy or if you should have something different.
Well, after you retire, you're not going to have those regular paychecks coming in from a job every 2 weeks or every month or every week, however often you get paid now. But after you retire, it's so important to have some kind of lifetime income streams so that you don't have to worry about running out of money. And, the only way to accomplish that is by having a plan, which Mark can help you put together.
Absolutely. So having income streams is important. And for most people, including myself, the only income streams we really have is going to be Social Security. And that's going to, depending on how far you are away from it, that's probably going to look a lot different for most people. But, having some type of pension, which most people don't have, but if you are fortunate to have it, that is an income stream. But really how you're going to turn your assets that you've been saving, your savings, into income that's going to last you and your spouse the rest of your life. And you also need it increasing to cover for inflation. So it's important, and most people don't know how to do that. And that's one of the things we really help with is looking at how you're going to take this money that you've saved and looking at all the different things, whether it be Social Security, if you're lucky enough to have a pension, what other things that you have to create the income that's going to come in, whether it be monthly, quarterly, yearly, to cover the expenses for the things that you want to do in retirement, and making sure that you're not going to run out of money. And that's one of the biggest things that we do here as far as planning, is making sure that you're going to have enough income so you can confidently be in retirement or retire with what you want to have in retirement, and being able to do the things, like I said, that you want to do.
It is absolutely essential that you have income streams coming in for the rest of your life so that you don't outlive your money. And Mark, how are you going to help folks do that?
Well, just like you get a second opinion on your health, why wouldn't you come in and get a second opinion on your wealth? So whether you're do-it-yourself or already working with someone, this is now your chance to go through this process that we call the financial physical. Do you know what your investments are costing you? If you're still working, are you on track to have the type of retirement you've always envisioned? Or if you're already retired, do you know if you or your spouse are at risk of running out of money while trying to maintain your current lifestyle? And I can assure you, I will not be trying to sell you investment or insurance products. I repeat, this is not a sales meeting. This is far different than everybody else on the radio. In this initial meeting, we'll address issues of importance to you, provide an overall view of your situation, and give you some general advice on what needs to be completed. This consultation is designed for both individuals as well as couples. However, if you are married, it is mandatory that both spouses attend this initial meeting. So whether you're still working or already retired, this is a great opportunity to see what it looks like to work with someone who is actually required to have a fiduciary responsibility to look out for your best interest at all times. This meeting will be valuable to you whether or not we decide to work together. There is no cost or obligation for this initial appointment. However, it is best suited for people who have saved at least $250,000. And as you probably are aware by now, I am a certified financial planner professional, and I believe the only one locally here on the radio in Tucson. And the going hourly rate to meet with a CFP such as myself can cost as much as $300 an hour. So this is a tremendous value and chance to finally get your financial house in order and keep it that way. And your only commitment is an hour or so of your time. Just as you want to reach a healthy life from a physical standpoint, you also want to reach and maintain great financial health. So our financial physical is just what the doctor ordered. We try our best to help everyone. However, our slots do fill up quickly. So I can only guarantee a complimentary meeting to the next 5 people that contact us right now. Please don't procrastinate, because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
520-333-7601. That's 520-333-7601. That is a number to put you in touch with Mark Silverman at Silverman & Associates. If you like, you can just send a text to that number, and same number, 520-333-7601. You don't have to leave any information about your finances today. You don't have to have your appointment calendar in front of you. Nothing like that. A member of Mark's team will get back with you, and then you can settle on a time later. But come in for that complimentary review, that financial physical. It's not going to cost you anything. Just invest a little time. 520-333-7601. Mark Silverman, certified financial planner professional, founder and the managing member at Silverman & Associates. This is Saving with Silverman. Thank you so much for listening to Saving with Silverman. I'm Ron Stutz. Mark Silverman, the star of our show here. Mark, of course, the founder and the managing member of Silverman & Associates. You can go to savingwithsilverman.com if you'd like and find out more about Mark, savingwithsilverman.com. But if you'd like to get the financial physical, here's a phone number for you. 520-333-7601. That's 520-333-7601. You can send a text to the number if you'd rather do that. Either way, you don't have to talk to anybody today. Don't have to have any numbers with you. Just make that initial phone call, and then Mark's team will get back with you, and you can set a time to come in. And when you do come in, you're going to be talking to Mark Silverman. He's not going to put you off on anybody else. So again, one more time, 520-333-7601. 7601, your number to call or text. Time now for the request line, and we have some great questions today, Mark, from, first of all, Harold in Green Valley. Harold says, I'm still working and plan to work for at least another 2 years, but I'm now old enough to start taking my Social Security without being limited on how much income I can earn. Do you think this is a recommended strategy?
Well, Harold, that's a great question. I mean, we have a report that we could run, and we'll do an analysis as part of our financial planning process. We'll actually show you, based on life expectancy and what your benefit is, if you're married, what your spouse's benefit might be. And we can actually run a custom report to show you what's the best way to take it, what's going to give you the most money over your lifetime. And so what I can tell you is with Social Security, each year you defer, and you may already know this, you get 8% guaranteed. And the only place you get 8% guaranteed, it's not through an annuity or some investment vehicle. The only way you get that is through the government. So it's a huge benefit. So if you could wait, a lot of times waiting till 70 is when it maxes out, assuming that if you retire and you need income before then, that you can draw off other assets. And that's another thing that we can help with. But if you could wait till 70, a lot of times that's your best bet. The given thing is life expectancy. So as long as your life expectancy is, at least 81 to 82 years old. That's typically the break point for a lot of these that we run. But like I said, we can run these custom and show you exactly where your numbers stand based on your ages, as well as your benefit amounts, et cetera. But great question.
Yeah, Harold, thanks for sending in the question. Hope that helps. But the best thing to do is to come in and have a conversation face-to-face with Mark Silverman about all of this stuff. A lot of facets to explore there and to consider. Ray in the Foothills has a question. He says, as I've researched different financial licenses and designations, it seems that many of them are similar, but they also have their differences. Is there a particular license or designation I could be looking for when it comes to getting a financial advisor?
Well, Ray, that's a great question. There's different types of advisors. A lot of people call themselves advisors, and you've heard me say this before. Most people are just financial salespeople, and they're not really advising. This is a radio show. There's lots of radio shows. I would say a majority of the radio shows are people just that are insurance licensed that are just pretty much selling annuities. I would probably stay away from people like that. There are other people that are on the radio that are just stockbrokers. They're looking to sell investment vehicles, whether it just be, mutual funds or whatever, variable annuities, et cetera. And, those I would say may not be in your best interest either because they don't have a fiduciary responsibility over all your money. You want to work with someone who's with an RIA, registered investment advisor, who has a fiduciary responsibility. So I think that structure is the most important thing. You want to make sure they're not tied to a broker-dealer. It would be my advice. And then the other thing you want to look for is somebody that's a CFP, certified financial planner. And you can go to the CFP website and see who's a CFP. I believe I'm the only one on the radio that's locally here that is a CFP. I'm also an RIA as well. I'm affiliated with a registered investment advisor, which is my own firm. So I think those are what's in your best interest. That's why I've structured it. And I've come from the brokerage side. I'm also insurance licensed, et cetera, in full disclosure. But at this point in time, I'm not affiliated with any broker dealer. I'm completely independent, and I am a certified financial planner professional as well. So I think those are the type of advisors that you want to be working with.
Hey, let me just say also that Mark is local, as he just said a moment ago. He's a guy who lives in Tucson, cares about Tucson, and is concerned about the community, and certainly is reachable at just about any given moment.
Yeah,
and really accessible.
Exactly, and we're a local firm. I know there's another firm that's been advertising about being a fiduciary, and they are set up as an RIA, but they're based out of Phoenix. I'm not going to mention names. I'm based here in Tucson. I'm from Tucson.
Yeah, and that's very important. You're not talking to a guy who just does this radio show. I mean, Mark Silverman is right here in Tucson all the time. So, he's a local guy. We got one more question here from Katarina in Vail. And Katarina says her husband is not inclined to do any retirement planning at all because he says he'll just keep working. Is this mindset okay? She says, I guess I'm worried about what happens if he can't keep working, even if he wants to.
Well, Katarina, that's a great question. And there's certainly nothing wrong. Sometimes retirement has a bad stigma to it because there are people that honestly never want to retire. And I'm probably in that same boat. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I don't see myself retiring per se. And there's other people out there who really enjoy what they're doing. Maybe you'll be working less hours, but some people just never want to retire. They don't want to just stop working. They want to at least be keeping busy, either in their field that they've always done or maybe doing something different, et cetera. And there's certainly, again, nothing wrong with that. I think your concern is valid, though, in a sense that, what if something does happen and where he can't work, your husband can't work anymore? Are you guys going to be financially stable to be able to maintain your lifestyle throughout your life? And so I think that's the question that's more important, is having somebody put a plan together to say, hey, if for some reason your husband can't work any longer or just chooses not to work, are you guys going to be able to maintain your lifestyle? And I think that's the important thing. So it's important that you have somebody put a plan together for you to illustrate that.
Good questions today from Katarina, Ray, and Harold in Vail, the Foothills, and Green Valley, respectively. And there are a lot of other people out there today, I know, listening to the show who may have other questions and would like to come in and talk with you about them, Mark. And I'm going to give out the number in just a moment so they can get in touch. But what happens when they come in?
Well, we've had some great questions, and I just want to remind everybody, if you go to our website, which is savingwithsilverman.com, click on the media tab, and there's a place to submit your question. If you submit it on there, maybe you'll get to hear your question here answered on the air. So now's my chance to ask you a question, and I want to see if you can answer it as honestly and objectively as possible. Aside from the happy hellos and how's the family, and aside from the occasional lunch or golf game, I mean, I get it. I'm as much friends with so many of my clients, they become true friends over the many years. But I think the question has to be asked, especially in light of the stakes. Is your current financial advisor truly adding value beyond a doubt? I repeat, is your current financial advisor truly adding value? It's a valid question, as a friendship or just relationship allows you not to be in a position to ask those critical questions. Are you talking about taxes? Are you talking about Social Security and income and diversification and risk and insurance and estate planning and healthcare? Are you having those annual reviews? But hopefully it's more frequently than that. Is there detailed follow-up? Is there accountability? If you are, if all of that is happening, congratulations, because you've got a great relationship, and send your financial advisor a thank you. But if you're not having that, if you're not feeling the value, if you're not having these in-depth conversations, then you owe it to yourself and really to your family to have a conversation with someone else, because if you don't, you're the one that's going to suffer. You're the one that's going to pay the cost, and it'll cost you in more ways than you'll ever know. Let us prove to you how we can help your money go further in retirement. Let us show you with our financial physical. I believe you'll be surprised at what you'll learn, and this won't cost you anything. Give us a call or send us a text to 520-333-7601, 520-333-7601. That's 520-333-7601, or check us out online at savingwithsilverman.com. That's savingwithsilverman.com. Please don't procrastinate, because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
520-333-7601, 520-333-7601. You can call or text if you like, 520-333-7601. So important to reach out. Maybe you're driving in your car right now and you can't call, but please remember to do so as soon as you can do so safely. Write this number down, put it in your phone, whatever you need to do to remember it, 520-333-7601. Again, call or text. Join us again next week for the next edition of Saving with Silverman.
Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC is a registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, product, service, or investment strategy. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified advisor, tax professional, or attorney before implementing any strategy or recommendation discussed herein.